Anyway, here's Petro. Leftist economist and Senator Gustavo Petro is declared president of Colombia. This is a short guide to who Petro is and the elections in Colombia. A thread. In Colombia, leftist and right-wing populists moved on to June runoff. First round of presidential elections in May saw the loss of the traditional conservative and liberal parties, resulting in two candidates in the runoff, the leftist economist Gustavo Petro and the right-wing businessman Rodolfo Hernandez. Both developed populist campaigns. Gustavo Petro is a leftist economist, senator, ex-guerrilla turned politician. Guerrilla turned politician. He heads the historic PACT Party, a coalition of Colombia's 20 socialist, indigenous, and ecological parties. With his black VP, Francia Marquez, Petro has already won a plurality in Congress. Petro's platform focuses on making Colombia a leader in combating climate change, democratization of housing, credit, high corporate taxes, land reform for farmers, and a specific land reform for Native and Black communities, women's equality in public office, and Buen Vivir. Rodolfo Hernandez is a far-right conservative and construction business CEO, labeled a Trump-style populist. He's seen as an outsider who reached second place by chance. His main policy was a zero impunity end to corruption, investment schemes in housing science, and tech dev. Rodolfo Hernandez faced much controversy for vocally supporting Adolf Hitler. We said that. With his anti-establishment rhetoric, Hernandez ran as an independent but had no party to help him govern in Congress. And due to his right-wing business politics, Hernandez would have turned to the right-wing nationalist establishment known as Uribitas to govern. That's wild that this dude with no fucking political backing was able to reach this level of success, though. So if you had someone who was not a complete fucking psycho like this, who knows if they were as charismatic. Or if they had like the legitimate support of right-wing parties, I feel like it would be really scary. Anyway, who are the Uribistas? They're followers of the ex-president Alvaro Uribe, who had an iron fist war policy against the FARC guerrillas. Alongside using right-wing paramilitaries, Uribe's government, am I saying that right? I don't know. But government allowed the disappearance of human rights defenders. Uribe failed to end the war with the FARC. Colombian security forces murdered at least 6,402 civilians between 2002 and 2008 during the government Alvaro Uribe, according to findings with the Special Jurisdiction for Peace, the Transitional Justice Tribunal created in 2016. You know what's really crazy? What is that? That's 2002 to 2008. That's 6 years. 6,402 civilians. I mean, this isn't I don't know what the exact number is for the American police. But just think about this for a second. The American police killed 1,052 people this past year. During the government of Alvaro Uribe, according to the findings of the Special Jurisdiction for Peace, the Transitional Justice Tribunal created in 2016 peace agreement to investigate and prosecute major human rights violations of the armed conflict. The killings were committed while Colombia was receiving extensive military aid from the United States as a part of the plan Colombia agreement between the two countries. Wow, that's crazy. The presidential elections are happening in the context of peace process with the FARC, Colombia's wealth inequality, geopolitical struggles with Venezuela, Latin America's second pink tide, rampant murders of human rights defenders, Native and Black demands for land, etc. Colombia is Latin America's most conservative country. Colombia now has the first leftist president of its history with Gustavo Petro, who will join the many other leftist leaders in Mexico, Bolivia, Chile, etc. Petro's victory shows the power of the Latin American left. Same is going to happen in Brazil. I'm also teaching a decolonial Colombian Venezuelan philosophy class starting June 29th. Okay. Just the fucking least educated Hasanabi head in the chat. Actually, I don't know if this person is in the chat right now. But we'll look at topics like the ideology of Petro's Pacto Histórico and Native and Black spirituality, Simón Bolívar's politics, plurinationalism, what folks are saying about this election.
For a country that has long marginalized the left for its perceived association with decades of insurgency.
Wait, what? Someone said Hassan, they threw a grenade at her? What the fuck kind of... Dude, that is metal as hell, dude. This is what I mean. Latin American politics is fucking crazy, bro. No shot. They threw a fucking grenade at her?
Victory
I was just kidding when I
A
said...
historic moment for Colombia as it votes in
Hold on, I
its
gotta pee,
first
I'll be back.
ever leftist leader. Former rebel Gustavo Petro has vowed to launch profound social and economic change.
Una historia nueva.
We are writing history at this moment.
Aquí
A new history for
ha
Colombia,
ocurrido hoy
for Latin America,
con estos
and for the
11
world.
millones de electoras y
a new
electores
history because undoubtedly what has happened today with those 11 million voters is a change.
es un cambio.
What is coming is a real change,
Aquí
a
lo
fundamental
que
change.
viene es un cambio de verdad, un cambio real.
Petro defeated another maverick candidate, former mayor and millionaire Rodolfo Hernandez. Hernandez had garnered a lot of support for his candidacy on TikTok, promising to reduce wasteful government spending and to go after corrupt officials. His concession speech implored Petro to do the same.
I hope that Gustavo Petro will know how to lead the country, that he will be loyal to his words against corruption, and that he will not disappoint those who trusted him.
Petro has a tough task ahead of him. He faces a divided Congress, likely to complicate his implementation of the fiscal and social reforms his supporters are counting on.
Let's cross over now to Bogota and speak to DW's Johan Ramirez. So Gustavo Petro has come out on top in the vote. What helps him get the leg up on Hernandez?
He had a very successful electoral campaign, a very successful communication campaign, because actually he presented himself as a renovation, as a change, as a break with continuity. But the truth is that Gustavo Petro has been doing politics in Colombia for the last 30 years. He was in the Congress first, then he was diplomat, then he was mayor of Bogota, one of the main jobs in politics in Colombia. Now he's again in the Congress. Now he becomes president. But he has been very successful in presenting himself as a renovation in politics. On the other hand, he was also a former guerrilla.
CIA's already intercepting the lines, dude.
So he was very also successful in rewriting his past. His opponent, Rodolfo Hernandez, is a very rich man, and it was easy for Petro to attack him of being part of the political economic elite of the country.
So how likely is Petro's election likely to change Colombia's political landscape?
It's a major change. Let's remember that his victory represents the first time that left wing takes power in the country. Colombia has been ruled for decades for mainly two political parties, and this is a major change. He has promises left-wing policies, social policies, and there are lots of expectations on his government that will start on August 7th, so in a little bit more than a month.
All right, so it appears Colombia is going through a shift to the left, but at the same time, both candidates ran on platforms rejecting the political establishment. So why are Colombians so dissatisfied with their government?
Because, as I said, Colombia was ruled for mainly two political parties for decades, and during decades they weren't able to tackle the main problems of the country. Colombia went into a civil war for more than 50 years. Colombia had been fighting against drug trafficking. I mean, the golden age of drug trafficking, and the governments in this country weren't able to tackle this problem, insecurity. And just to give you one recent example, last year, amid the huge crisis provoked by the pandemic, amid the huge economic crisis, the government of now outgoing President Ivan Duque proposed a tax reform to increase taxes for the middle class. It provoked a huge political crisis, and thousands of people took to the streets to protest, and that moment was a turning point for Gustavo Petro to come out as a possibility, and also Rodolfo Hernandez as an outsider. Let's remember that in this presidential race, all traditional political parties were out of the race, and that's why, because people were dissatisfied with the elite, the political elite of the country.
All right, that was DW's Johan Ramirez bringing us the latest from Bogota. Thank you very much.
Dude, everything we've done in Latin American countries is a fucking crime against humanity. And, like, there is no God, there is no justice. And if there was karmic justice, every single American leader would be fucking burning right now. Like, think about that. Even as far as, like, what we were just talking about with respect to, like, supporting the prior government and its fucking incredibly violent campaign against humanitarians, killing up to like what 6,400 fucking civilians, straight up, with American guns. Like that is just a copy paste of like literally everything we've done. I mean, even under like the Batista administration, even under the Batista regime in Cuba, we did the exact same fucking shit. We've done it time and time and time again, dude. 6,402. It's so wild.